This past weekend was filled with tons of blatant distraction, and the understandable focus was on the tragic shooting at the Santa Fe, Texas school. We had endless replays of the royal wedding, total waste of time. Tons of people totally missed the story about the second Trump Tower meeting. Trump tweeted over the weekend about how he's going to order the Justice Department to investigate spying on the Trump campaign by an Obama plant. For example, tweeting, quote, "I hereby demand, and will do so officially tomorrow, that the DOJ look into whether or not the FBI or DOJ infiltrated or surveilled the Trump campaign for capital P political purposes, and if any such demands or requests were made by people within the Obama administration." And it got a ton of attention. You then had the commentary about Trump's tweet from right-wing media. For example, Fox News' Maria Bartiromo, totally off the rails, but Trumpists loving it. A tweet from Fox News quoting Maria Bartiromo as saying, "It sounds like either President Obama or Hillary Clinton were sort of masterminding all of this." And at the end of the day, between it being the weekend and the right-wing media distraction machine and the school shooting, a ton of people either never heard about the second Trump Tower meeting or disregarded it as not a big story. And I need to make sure that the story is out there and that it's understood. And what we knew about the first Trump Tower meeting, right, with the Kremlin-connected Russian lawyer Natalia Veselnitskaya. The quid pro quo was discussed, dirt on Hillary to help Trump in exchange for easing Russian sanctions. Don Jr. was there, Paul Manafort was there, Jared Kushner was there, the gang was there, right? We now know of a second meeting, which was broken by the New York Times, involving Trump Jr., who seems to always be there, with an Israeli specialist in media manipulation, an emissary for two Arab princes from Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, and a Republican donor named Eric Prince, who at this point you probably are familiar with because he is the guy from such disasters as being the founder of the mercenary firm formerly known as Blackwater. Now it has some totally innocuous name, like I think it's Academy with an I or something like that. He's also the brother of Trump's Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos. This meeting opens up entirely new possible quid pro quos, possible violations of the Emoluments Clause from this thing we call the Constitution. Was the Israeli embassy move connected to this meeting in exchange for help? Was pulling out of the Iran deal part of some quid pro quo with a Saudi or Emirati prince? Maybe. We just have no idea right now. And I want to remind everybody, the Steele dossier. This was implied in the Steele dossier. I mentioned this line in the Trump-Russia dossier last week when we were talking about the $500 million for a Trump-linked project from China in Indonesia, at the same time that Donald Trump all of a sudden tweeted he wants to help a Chinese company get more jobs. The line from the dossier alleges that a source close to Trump suggested that the Republican campaign team was happy to have Russia in the media spotlight as a bogeyman or boogeyman. I don't actually know in this particular case which it is. Could be both, in fact, to mask more extensive corrupt business ties to other countries. Is Saudi Arabia one of those countries? Is Indonesia one of those countries? The United Arab Emirates? Once again, every indication that this meeting might be part of that, and these could be examples of conspiracy to commit election fraud. And this story, which didn't receive nearly enough attention, may actually be the explanation for why Trump went completely off the rails on Twitter on Sunday. Of course, he might have learned about something we just haven't heard about yet, always a possibility. But when you look at these erratic and aberrant tweets, it often is coinciding with wanting to, at least implicitly, cover up bad news. And it actually worked here, and he was helped, sadly, by the Santa Fe shooting, and a lot of people just not hearing about this second meeting.
Yeah, maybe because it relates more indirectly to the Russia stuff. I mean, I know you pointed out the Christopher Steele dossier connection there, but it doesn't have that same lie and cover-up aspect that the rest of this Russia narrative has had over the past year or so.
That may be part of it. I mean, every element made it so that a lot of people just didn't hear about the story, including just the timing of when it came out. And my question to you is there anything Trump criticized Hillary Clinton of doing that he's not guilty of himself? That's the question I'm wondering about right now. You can send me your thoughts on Twitter at @dpakman. The show is also on Twitter at David Pakman Show. Today's episode of the David Pakman Show is made possible in part by Cody, which is an innovative new cryptocurrency and online payment platform that is setting out to revolutionize how we send and receive online payments, the same way that the transportation industry has been innovated by ride-sharing apps, the same way that music and video distribution have been revolutionized by real-time streaming. Cody says that the payment industry is ripe for transformation right now. Cody stands for Currency of the Internet, and they're setting out to make their cryptocurrency, which was designed specifically to be used for payments. That will be the first crypto, if they succeed, used on a widespread mainstream basis for online payments. This will be a payment system that can be used by anyone, whether you're a consumer or a business, and regardless of the industry that you're in. Most cryptos fail to meet the everyday needs of average consumers or businesses, and many cryptocurrencies just weren't built with convenient and trustworthy payment as their sort of primary function. And this is the specific niche that Cody is trying to fill with the technology that they've created. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can find out more about Cody and their ICO in the links below the video. This is not financial advice, and you should do all of your own research before making any investment decisions.